And we are live. Welcome back to Live Reality Games. Here we pretty much are a series of creators, producers, players of live reality games talking about live reality games themselves. And we're super excited to have you here because this is kind of a special moment. Back when we kind of started the live reality game scene, this series was one of our first ones. And Liz and I covered it way back when. Liz, remember that first episode that we covered? Like, I was super nervous.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous as well, I think. We actually took notes. Do you remember taking notes?
I remember, like, taking notes. Like, I had a whole page. I have some scribbled down now, but still, I kind of, like, wing it these days.
Nice.
Professionally winging it.
Professionally, yeah.
Speaking of first-timers, we have here Jeremy. Jeremy, welcome to the crew.
Hi.
Jeremy, for the folks at home, tell them a little bit about yourself, just briefly, before we get into the episode.
So my name's Jeremy. I'm 19. I am from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I have no personality of my own because I follow nothing but reality TV shows.
Woohoo!
All the better for most of us, trying to live the dream and to play as many games as we can.
Living
Liz,
out
how
our
are you
fantasies.
doing tonight, by the way? Or this morning, afternoon for you?
Doing good. Yeah, just chilling. Good day today.
All right, and it is a good day today because we are going to cover an amazing episode of Season 4 of the Penthouse. Joining us tonight is the first boot. So if you have not watched, or if it's too much of an emotional struggle for you to watch the first boot, it's okay. You'll make it through it. But here we have joining us tonight is Dustyn.
It was an emotional struggle for me too.
Well, we're glad you could overcome it and be with us tonight.
Thank you. Happy Halloween, everyone. Almost.
A few shout outs to the audience already. Nicole's checking us out. If you're not following Ascendance Live, make sure you check that out. Besides watching Penthouse, I know they kind of come at the same time most weeks, but you know, there's always YouTube later. And then, of course, Kirk is here as well. He says, oops, about something. So I'm curious upstairs what on earth he did. So we'll have to find out after the episode. Speaking of episode, this is the first episode. And of course, make sure you follow us live on Facebook, on YouTube, especially on YouTube. We really want to get those numbers going so we can get more amped up and cover as much as we can. Those numbers are awesome. Thanks, folks, for tuning in and subscribing. Episode 1. Like, I remember the first game that I played, it was super nervous coming into it. So, Austin, I'm curious, like, coming into this live reality game, what were your thoughts and what did you sign up for?
Yeah, so as some people may know, I've been playing these games, not in person. I mean, I did host Big Brother games actually with my parents and some of my friends in my house. But I've only ever played these online since I was like 12. So I have a lot of experience, but not that interpersonal connection, like actually in person. So this was my first ever in-person game. I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I was definitely more so excited and anxious as to how I would do. And yeah, we saw how I did.
And honestly, not jumping too far in the episode, it's like you did nothing wrong. Penthouse always has those twists. Someone also joining for you in the first boot club. Nicole, of course, was the first boot in her season 2.
Oh my god, we're so exclusive.
And then, of course, like, look to see what Nicole did out of all this. So you might be reviving those Big Brother games one day.
Ascendance, hit me up.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Jake from Ascendance was in my interview group for the Penthouse.
Oh.
And we did like a little speed run of like who we would vote out. And I voted Jake out first in my interview because he had a big like sticker of himself in the back of his room. And I was like, that's super weird. Yeah, also in the interview, I was first boot. So
oh no! Bad foreshadowing.
And they still cast me, so there's not something in the cards.
And then hey to Valencia as well. Valencia, thanks for tuning in, of course. And Nicole says, never a bad thing voting Jake out. So
true.
You did the right move. So But speaking of moves, a lot of these people in the cast had some big moves. Jeremy, you weren't here with me and Liz when we did that cast draft. What do you think of the cast? Like, who are the big standout characters besides Austin, of course?
So, I mean, just basing it off of just episode 1, I briefly kind of skimmed through episode 0 early check-in. However, Matt seems to be narrating the show very, very a lot like this episode. So he's definitely a big name right now throughout the series. Also, I would say Austin. His comments have been like, I was rooting for you. I really was rooting for you, and your comments and your storytelling was awesome. I do need a minute to pull up the cast just so I can remember faces a little bit better.
Liz, what were your thoughts? Like, we went through the cast draft list, if you combine those words, of course, with Serena and Jamie earlier. Like, how do you think your team went?
Well, 2 of them are now in the bottom 5, I think. So, and like the others who are there, I want to keep going. So I don't know what's gonna happen there. But yeah, they're doing well. I'm enjoying them.
Mixed bag.
Yeah, they might not do well in the game, but I'm enjoying them as a cast.
Just as a refresher, Austin, you did end up on Team Dustyn, or the Dog Pound, as we used to call it back in the day. So thanks to the shout outs in the audience too, helping me choose. That was a tough choice, but it was a great choice. So I'm glad I picked Austin up on my team. So
I think you made a great choice too.
Good. And of course, I know we're kind of getting into the deep end here, but I know typically in this game there may be another episode to have you in it.
True.
I would love that if that happens.
Yeah. I remember interviewing Nicole. Nicole was super stern with us. She did not say a word. Remember that, Liz, when we were so surprised?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's great. She gave me hope.
Yeah. Jeremy, how did those notes go? What you think of the cast here?
So going through some of the comments, I did a lot of like commentary just based off of like confessionals so far. And we're not getting into the challenge yet. I'm just going through my notes real quick. And honestly, one of the first things that I wrote down about one of the confessionals was, Austin, you're allergic to running. Pray tell.
It's not something I do in my daily life. I'm a speed walker at most. Not very athletic. That's really all I can say. I went to the gym actually for the first time in a year last week.
Okay.
Which is a very proud accomplishment.
Interesting.
You don't get
Thank you so much.
I just started an at-home base for like a month right now, and my step count has dropped down from 10,000 steps to 3,000 steps. I'm like, oh, I need to get back to work, I think.
It's hard out here.
It sounds like Matthew, the host of Ascendance Live, is watching also with Nicole. He was so sad that you got voted out. So.
I do know Matthew Papa.
Oh!
Love him.
And then just as a refresher here, we do have our draft. Now, Jeremy, you weren't here for the cast list, so you're rooting for Dustyn, and Dustyn's team's going to win, right?
Let me go ahead and take a look.
Which team do you
Which
like?
team do you like the best? I guess Liz wants to rephrase this question. I guess.
You know what? Dustyn or Jamie, I like both of those drafts a lot. I do. I do enjoy both of these drafts. So, going through, you know what? You do have a pretty solid draft right now, Dustyn. I agree. Mm-hmm.
I got Matt. He did like half the confessionals.
He literally narrated this episode for us.
Yeah.
Big props to the actual narrator, though. Josh from last season, the winner, narrates amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We love it.
Somebody made a comment. It was kind of like watching Wipeout with the narrators, and I love it. It was amazing.
It was all worth it when he said, "Aw, bestie Austin." That was my favorite part.
We'll have to get one of those T-shirts. Of course, Penthouse has a lot of little slogan T-shirts you can buy from their shop, which is super cool. One of them was about the alliances in the game and stuff, so we'll definitely get into that. So
East Coast Alliance T-shirt. There's a giveaway on Twitter.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my God.
I see this.
I love Twitter.
That got quick.
I'll send y'all the link after.
Fantastic. So thoughts about this episode. Liz, I remember the first moment it started, I was like, oh, that music again. And there's like a soundtrack now. There's words to the song, which is amazing. I don't know who sings it, but I like it already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, keen. It was hype, you know, the first challenge, like, you know, obviously went on for ages, but I didn't even really care. I was just like, yes, let's watch the Penthouse. Like,
I really thought it gave a lot of people the time to strategize and mingle with
Yeah.
people. I know they kind of mingled day zero, of course, but this gave them a chance to kind of like watch people in action and actually like check up on people.
yeah.
But that first challenge, I'm not sure about that. You're going to pick a first challenge that everybody can pretty much throw really well. I know it's a pretty new production team, so I can see it looks on paper. I'm sure, Liz, this has gone through your mind too as a host. It looks great on paper, but when you actually put it in, you're like, wow, that didn't turn out exactly.
Yeah. Look, I was stressed watching like the first group because I was like, what if this is going on like longer than the producers expected? Like, are they gonna be like running out of time and stuff? I'm like, oh.
It was like that awkward sit around, like when's lunch? We've been here for how long? Oh my God.
It did take longer than expected.
And this, of course, was the purpose. Nobody wanted like first blood on their hand and whatnot. We can assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that your thought going into just like close your eyes and hope for the worst?
Okay, so this is also why I'm a crazy person. But when I do my competitions, it's really hard for me to throw them. So I was probably one of the few people that was actually trying to win. I'm just, like I said in that confessional, I'm just not an athlete. But I was trying to gun for like Audrey's bulletin thing. I just couldn't get it.
Oh, we were going for Audrey.
I know.
The person on Team Dustyn. What are you thinking?
I love Audrey. I just barely spoke to her. And also I learned that she was a little distant from me that first night. And she just told me this last week. The reason why she was so distant is because her ex was named Austin. So she felt very concerned that I would betray her like her ex did. So she was not willing to work with me.
She didn't even give you the chance.
No. I was already over in her book.
Oh.
I could feel the energy.
Well, I hope you brought a better name to Austin than what she remembers now. Like, forget about that guy.
I think I did.
Good.
But it took probably around 3 hours.
No.
Yeah, and the
Liz and I are panicking as live hosts. We're like, oh my gosh, how did they make so much time?
Well, they had us get up really early. I think we started at 8 a.m. So the competition ended around 11.
Same day.
The same day. The producers were very worried that they were going to run out of water balloons. So they had to move all the posters up. And then for the second group, the reason why the second group actually went so much faster is because they kept them closer than how they started the first round.
Yeah.
So it was way easier for us. But I like to say that we were just better than them, but it's not true.
Now, while you kind of got to meet people on the first challenge and whatnot, and day zero, did you recognize anybody from online games or maybe just on Twitter, social media?
I only recognize Robin.
I think we all recognize Robin.
Yeah,
Robin has played a game that I have hosted. So we were we weren't besties, but we were besties.
So you knew how they played then. You were like, I know the details.
Yes. And then along getting to know everyone, I discovered that me and Julia had mutual connections to some people. So I knew Julia only through other people, but yeah. Very fun.
Now, during the gameplay, we see, of course, JP does find an advantage. Was that going through your mind? Had you watched Penthouse previously and kind of knew the gameplay?
So, I have a really close friend. His name is Derek Washington. So
we know Derek.
I did watch the first episode of season 3 for Derek. But I really hadn't understood how the game worked until probably a week before I flew out. And I skimmed through a few episodes. But when I got there, it completely crossed my mind that there were like powers that were hidden. Like, it just never crossed my mind. So I was never looking for them, literally ever. And then the segment with JP finding the card, I wasn't in that segment at all, like even in the background. So I was wondering, like, where the hell was I during the like, I don't even remember if anyone told me that JP found a card. Like, I don't know where I was. I literally have no idea.
So you were like the only one person that had no idea what it was. It's because it seems like everybody knew that JP had that card.
I must have been wandering around somewhere.
Edmund made sure everyone knew. He was like, boom, 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 like a big pass, like JP has an advantage. JP has an advantage. Like he was
and
like,
then he's like, hold on, wait, what have I done?
Right, no,
yeah,
like, he did that out of like just pure, like it was like a button, and then he ran across the house and was like, oh shit. Oh no.
Well, it was kind of JP's own fault. Like, you find a
no, it was
or something, you walk like nonchalantly. You don't like up and hightail it into like the house.
Yeah,
right.
Camera crew's running after you. They're like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Well, it's also like he was like at the bottom of the deck, and everyone else was up here, so it could have been easily like you could just look down and see what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah,
it was
he
like a
jumped up to get it, right?
yeah, like that was like he made so much noise. Like that's a lot of attention that you just put on yourself.
And it's not even that good of an advantage, I don't think.
That's what I was saying. I was like, dang.
Why didn't you just fess up and say what it was?
Right.
He did all that hard work for that power.
I don't know, Liz. Would you try to hide it and pretend it was something better? Or would you be like, oh, target's on me, fess up, I have an idol?
Oh, I'd just be like, yeah, target's on me, whatever.
You caught me.
Yeah, I'd be like, keep me around because I'm a target.
I mean, at that point, what are you gonna do if you get caught? Like, you can't lie. Everyone knows.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
who was it last season that had like 3 of them? Madison. She had 3 of them. Nobody wanted to touch her for anything.
Yes.
So. That's true.
It can work sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Some other folks checking out this podcast here. Thanks for tuning in. Zena, hey.
Oh, Zena.
We'll be talking about you a little bit later, at least a little recap I'm doing at the end with all of us. And then Robin, also known as Bestie Austin's bestie, I think.
They're both my besties.
And Jeremy too. Robin.
Oh, and Jeremy, I love you, Robin.
Yeah. Robin's not on Team Dustyn. It's all right, Robin. We're working on it. So Robin is, I think, on whose team? Is she on Liz's team?
I think no, not my team. I think
Jamie's
on,
team.
And
Robin is on Jamie's, I believe.
I closed that field. I'm so sorry. Let's see here. Yes, that is correct.
Jamie, yeah.
See? Right there, folks. See? Team Jamie. So best of luck to all the players. Actually, Zena's on that team too. We have like Team Jamie in the house, it looks like. So besides Dustyn, of course. As the episode progressed, we do see some alliances being made. Some conditions are being had with people, like Team East Coast, Team West Coast. Austin, I didn't hear your name in those conversations. Where do you lie here?
I didn't hear my name in them either. What's up, Zena? We're both from Phoenix. Yes, I am from Phoenix, so I guess I would be in the West Coast. There was never really a West Coast alliance, though.
It was
It
just
was
more East Coast and then
only East
everybody else.
Coast.
It was more East Coast, but the narrative was being pushed by the East Coast that there was also a West Coast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Didn't really make sense. The only alliance that I remember being like somewhat a part of was with Mona. And then me and Robin just kind of had an unspoken thing.
Okay.
It's kind of, I don't know. Again, I don't know where I was, but you know what, Zena? It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, it was really, I mean, the edit showed it, and I do think it's kind of true that Zena really was behind a lot of the initial strategic conversations. A lot of other people were just trying to socialize like on a personal level. I think it was really only like Zena and Mona that were really like getting the movement going on the strategy. It was really just those two.
It really was from at least our standpoint in the audience. Mona is actually here.
Oh my God, Mona!
Oh, Team Dustyn! Finally, another Team Dustyn.
Yeah.
Woo, yay!
Mona is a Phoenix bestie now too. She moved from Puerto Rico to Phoenix, so there should have been a Phoenix alliance, but
you know, I feel like that always happens in a lot of live games. People all just kind of up and move sometimes, and you meet these people randomly, and you're like,
so fun.
I have to follow this path. Liz, has that happened? Anything like major from live games that you've hosted or been in?
So what do you mean, like meeting up with people from like different parts of
like anything like extraordinary happen? Like two people meet at like a live game and then go off to do something else?
Oh yeah. I mean
I've heard of like people getting married and stuff like that. Do you have any like
I mean I met my fiance before for Thingo, but for Survivor, but
that really solidified it, we can say, right?
Yeah, you could sure. Let's
Once
say
you play
that.
Survivor with someone, like it's meant to be.
But a lot of my best mates, definitely from live reality games. So yeah.
If any cast members want to go on a date with me, I'm down.
Oh.
As long as you're paying.
As long as you're paying, please.
Mona also is doing a shout out for you, Jeremy. So
we're playing an org together right now. So hi, Mona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey. I don't get asked to play orgs.
Actually,
I do. Yeah.
That comment that Zena just made, me and Zena just went to a fabulous sushi restaurant. It's called Harumi Sushi. It was the best sushi I've ever had, and we will be going again.
Shout out there. Now, speaking of alliances, we talked about the alliance that you really weren't in. But Austin, what did you see as your alliance? What did you have lined up in your...
Yeah, I felt closest to Mona and Robin initially. It was really those two, and I also felt really safe with what can be referred to as the Hot Tub Alliance.
I was curious. Like, we haven't seen this yet. Like, please.
Yeah, so my exit, I do say a lot more than what is shown. It was cut out for videography reasons, but essentially, I have spent a lot more time with certain individuals, and we were hanging out in the hot tub, and me and Robin did think we had a closer connection with them than we actually did. It was me, Robin, Kyle, John, Matt, and Jules.
Oh.
That would have been the Hot Tub Alliance if they had stuck to their word.
That's basically my fantasy team.
Oh, and JP was in the hot tub also.
It's everyone. I think.
That is your team. That is your hot tub team.
Okay, my team is officially the hot tub team, I guess. Yeah.
We felt a little too strong about the hot tub people than we should have.
Well, sometimes it gets late and like the steam like overwhelms you, so you're thinking, "Oh yeah, this is a great alliance," and then you wake up the next day, you're like, "Oh, I forgot about that," or something like that.
There's a twisted reality with all that relaxation.
I guess I was vibing.
We were vibing, and we're kind of bummed that we don't get to see that. So maybe like little bloopers or extra scenes at the end of the episode, like Sabrina, Josh, Shane, you watching?
There's some hot tub selfies that we took towards the end.
Good. Okay, we can have like a little scrapbook.
There's a lot of photos.
So before the alliances and everything's going down, we do have the pretty much the breakdown of the episode here. Laurel wins that challenge that everybody was not great at. Like I think Xena said, not about archery. And then we have Laurel picking her top 3. And it seemed to me like the top 3, which are now VIPs in this series, they're kind of based on the challenge. Like, didn't Phaedra and Audrey do really well in the challenge? And they kind of got their spot.
Yeah.
So that made sense to me, at least, to choose a top 3 like that.
And the people she felt really close to, she said, I can't remember who they were, but like they were in the kind of in the middle, like just below the VIPs, I think.
And I think that's smart. You don't want to put your like best like alliance right next to you to see it just a little bit off and put them in safety, but not like in the top spots. Jeremy, do you agree with that decision that Laurel made, or?
I mean, I didn't see much strategy between those 4 in particular exactly. However, I do agree that most of Laurel's decision was justified. She's she put her alliance's placements a little bit lower just to kind of blow the steam off of that little group. I do agree with that. Yes.
Austin, I love how like
Sorry,
she's
Liz.
so like.
I mean, it's smart. It's really clever. That's a really clever move to make.
Like she doesn't like, feel all bad about it and like, oh my gosh. She's just like, yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, she was super unapologetic with this VIP, and I commend her on that.
Yeah, it was kind of great.
She was super. It was the opposite of last year. I think last year Contessa was like bawling making these decisions, and Laurel's just like, these are what I'm doing right here. No one can change my mind.
And then the Laurel versus Jules.
Oh yes,
that fiasco. Oh my god, that was very, very entertaining.
That seemed to be like the most heated moment of the day, Austin. Do you remember that being like, oh gosh, this game is actually on?
Yes, I will say the drama on that end only gets worse.
Oh,
so if you didn't enjoy that fight, there's a lot more from certain cast members to come when it comes to fighting.
Doesn't surprise me.
I mean,
I will say too, though. So Laurel did make a deal with the final 6 of that competition to put all of them at the top. However, we do see that Nathan is left out of the top 6 of the ranking.
Ooh.
Now, the only reason, allegedly, because of this is because Laurel just simply forgot about him when she was she just totally forgot that he was there.
I just realized that. I'm just going through like the final 6 right now that I listed. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny because like he was almost booted, right? Like,
so that was a really bad mistake on Laurel's part because the only reason why he's that low is because she forgot about him.
Oh my god.
So that's a fun fact.
I don't know if he was up any higher, like we would see Julia in there, and I don't know how we probably would have seen Julia go then. I don't know how well connected she was with Laurel though.
It's definitely possible. I mean, Julia does not have an Oathkeeper tattoo, so I don't know what she would have done.
And I guess according to Twitter, anytime that you do hear Nathan talk about his tattoo in this series, you should take a drink. So as a heads up. So next time we'll be prepared, folks. Let's see. And I guess the viewers are tuning in. Xena and Mona do say that there was a plan and for the final 6, like you were confirming there, Austin. So were you surprised about your placement?
I wasn't. I knew I would teeter on the bottom 5, not bottom 5 area. Just because I had talked to her somewhat the least. I knew I definitely was going to be at the bottom because, Keaton existed, JP had the card issue. There were some other people that she actually had troubles with, whereas I was just kind of like a neutral in her life. But I did consider that I would be in the bottom 5, which now looking back, I kind of wish she did hate me a little bit more because then I would have been safe. but it's fine.
Is there anything that you wish you would have connected with her more at first, or do you think you just kind of, you can't mingle and connect with everyone in a cast like this?
Yeah, she's just not someone that I was really living for. We definitely, I mean, she was fine the first day, but she definitely wasn't my favorite. And I don't know, there just wasn't the only thing we really had in common was that we were like of the same age group. I think me, her, Phaedra, and Nathan are the only like 4 people that are really like Gen Z age group. Everyone else is kind of older, so we had that in common, but yeah, we just didn't have the time to get to know each other because of like certain like spatial issues. We didn't sleep in the same room or anything, so it was just like
there was a lot of scrambling during this VIP.
Yeah,
a lot of desperation instead of strategy. It felt like
mostly desperation for sure.
Like
I think the people that were in the bottom kind of knew that they would be there for the most part.
I wrote in my notes, Keaton felt he was in danger and he begged and begged and begged. Shot a shot, he missed. And Miss Laurel was not having it. She was not living for that moment.
No, she is a very upfront person. I will say that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Now, something I was a little disappointed in not seeing was more Jada strategy. Like, we saw Jada last season, and Jada didn't make those connections at first. She was kind of like assumed to be in this group, but she kind of like didn't try per se, and she says it too in the episode. She's like, well, maybe I should have been more talkative. We do see her take Laurel's side and have that little one-on-one, but I don't see her like in the other alliances going strong. Liz, do you have the same feelings? Like, I want more Jada.
I don't know. I was like very like high on Jada this episode. Like, I was like, she just looks like she's having so much more fun than like last season. She just looks like she's got like, I don't know, like a better attitude about it or something. She's just like in it. Maybe she just like gels with more people and like, I don't know. I have high hopes.
When she pulled when Laurel put her to the side, I was like, "Oh wow, she's giving her all this information. I want to know how this formed because there wasn't much context going into that conversation. I feel like we missed."
Austin, did you register Jada as a returnee? Did that put any extra target on her, or did you, like you said, you watched very few of season 3? I guess.
Yes, I think for most of us, if not all of us, we viewed Jada as like an asset rather than as someone to target, especially at the beginning. Like, I think she was someone great to bring back, especially when you're only bringing back one returnee, because she came across as very like non-threatening and like someone very like nice and sociable on her season. Like, she really had no bad qualities on her first season that you could detect from watching the show. So I think she was someone that we all actually really wanted, and she wasn't threatening at all either because she had not done the best on her first time around. So it's not like we were completely scared of what she had to offer. We more so wanted her as like an ally. I think most of us did.
I think all of us here want Jada as an ally. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Something I would say too is, I think in the early check-in and in this episode, Jada has really positive things to say about Phaedra. And so that's definitely a friendship that I would watch as well.
You mentioned Phaedra too earlier, kind of grouping her in with your age group per se. Looking at the diversity of ages in this cast, it's not that widespread, I guess you could say. It's pretty tight. Did you still like feel like you were like in groups based on ages?
Not at all. I think I don't want to spoil any further alliances, but one of the alliances I immediately think of, like one of the youngest people in the cast was working with like the oldest person in the cast. So I don't think age really played a role that much in anything. But her hair looked good, her nails looked good. and they will continue to look good. She looks so amazing.
She's stunning. She's literally gorgeous.
I know. I love her. She's allegedly supposed to come to Phoenix in December, so we will be taking pictures.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, but she is a great character.
Oh, where do you recommend us checking out those pictures at, Austin?
On my Instagram, hopefully her Instagram. if I look cute enough for her to post on there, I don't know. But
let's see here. So the decision gets made, and then first round of the Penthouse, the switch is left to popular vote pretty much. And it was pretty much hands down. It sounded like that Mona was the obvious pick. Did you vote for Mona as well for the switch?
I didn't.
Oh.
From my knowledge, it was actually a pretty close race between Mona and Edmund. And from my perspective, everyone was telling me that they were voting Edmund. So I thought that he had it in the bag. But it ended up going to Mona.
Who were you talking with? Like, I'm curious. Who are those people that were telling you?
I mean, it was mostly like Robin. I think Julia and Nathan had also told me that Edmund was the vote too. But Mona winning does make sense. I think she had probably the best like social grasp from the early check-in thing. Mm-hmm. She was talking to the most people for sure.
Yeah, and like she said, she hit the ground running. Like, was that apparent that Mona was playing such a strong game?
Yeah, she's like a very like confident, bold personality. She's very loud, but like in a good way. And so she like, you know, if she wanted that position, she was going to get that position because she would have fought for it the most probably.
She doesn't end up switching much though. She just switches Keaton and Matt, who I have like keyed up with the little arrows, switching them back and forth. So not much in the bottom. And I think pretty much like that's how you play the first round. Would you say, Jeremy, have watched before, keep them pretty much the same?
I mean, with this first one, with this switch, you don't want to throw someone under the bus and also have the VIP on your case with switching someone who is safe into the bottom. You don't want to mess up their VIP, nor do you want to mess up your game. So I think just switching just two people in the bottom five just didn't really change much. So I think that was a pretty smart move. Yeah.
Liz, any thoughts? Would you have switched anyone?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember who got switched. So I guess it really didn't have an impact. I see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always a fan of like, if you, just like you do something, like have a purpose to things. But I guess like switching two people on the bottom does have a purpose, but it just, I don't know. It just feels wasted to me when people do that.
I could have been switched with Austin. Austin, would you have liked to be switched knowing that? Now? Yeah.
I would have been campaigning for my life out there.
Would you have felt safer in the bottom five, per se?
Yes.
Yeah.
Compared to Robin and Nathan, the bottom five would have been a lot easier to campaign against. For sure. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Now, what wasn't mentioned much in the episode is when Jules got picked to be the defender. I was surprised when they were chosen. We see this nice scene before when JP and Nicholas, they're like bonding, and Nicholas is kind of helping JP with some anxiety for getting the clue card and everything. So I was surprised. Did anybody else have that same reaction?
No, it's a pretty big move to pick someone else in the bottom with you. To be the defender, like if it was me, I would have chose someone a little bit higher up out of the bottom five.
I think it's kind of good to choose someone from the bottom because like they're not risking anything. Like they're already in the bottom. Like so, if a twist comes back on them, it's like, well, does it change much? You know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I always see defender as somebody that you really trust, and I didn't see that in the edit at least. So. Mm-hmm.
So
I
said this in the last podcast, but this is the one instance where I think the hot tub did come into play.
Oh, okay.
They were being besties in the hot tub, and I think we could all sense this, but Jules is I think for sure the most emotional player out of the 18 of us. So it would have been really hard for Jules to send someone home solely by themselves. Like they would have felt really terrible about it. I mean, you can see in the episode that Jules is crying over voting me or Nathan. And so Jules, like, super emotional, I don't think would have been willing to send someone home on their own.
Mm-mm.
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
they do choose for safety. So this throws the unfortunate twist. And it's always a bummer when a twist comes in and something like this happens. I have never seen this twist before in Penthouse. I can't recall. This is a whole new, brand new one, isn't it?
Definitely is.
I liked it. I gotta say.
I
I mean,
liked it.
sorry, Austin, but like,
It took me
I
a minute
liked
to
it.
understand
It was
it.
yeah, I liked the like, it's still like people in the top are still all good, but it's like the people who didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked it. Wasn't as changing as like a lot of the other twists,
Yeah, from a viewer perspective, I liked how it made every single ranking important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like where you put everyone is important, not just the bottom 5, especially with the gold chairs also.
Mhm.
So it made whoever is the next VIP realize that who's in the gold chairs is really important because anything can happen.
Mm-hmm. One of the worst twists, at least unfortunately from the player perspective, I guess. I think it was season 1. The defender had chosen the power to save, and they were eliminated instead.
Yeah.
That was a rough one. Like there was no vote, no chance for saving themselves. And I think she was one of my favorites from like that season 1 cast too when they first started. But Austin, you hearing this twist, you hear that your name, Robin's name, Nathan, and Jules is up for elimination. What are your thoughts?
Definitely not ideal. I will say I try to stay pretty like genuine and authentic in the confessionals because they were filmed after. And I did feel pretty good about Nathan leaving. It just made the most sense. I think Robin also felt very confident that Nathan would leave. We knew that Jules was going to be fine because of the bottom 5 connection. But we were going in scared, but we were pretty confident that we could overcome the tattoo and get Nathan sent home.
You
But
just need
it was
to,
too strong.
you just need to scrub it off and be like, it's just a fake one anyway.
I
Literally.
think the tattoo was it working against him, do you reckon?
That's a really good question.
I think it sounds like it might, from all the comments we're getting from the cast mentioning that darn tattoo, it might come up to hurt him eventually.
Nathan, I don't want to hype Nathan up because the last time I said this, Nathan texted me after the podcast and was like, OMG, do you really mean that? But genuinely, like, Nathan has this type of like energy, like persona that I've never seen in a game before because he's not necessarily charming. And I know some of the viewers even found the tattoo thing irritating, but he still has like this like dynamic energy that somehow makes people gravitate towards him, and I can't explain it. It was very odd to watch.
So yeah,
But
I
it-
played like
yeah.
Kingdom Hearts. I understood it was the Oath Breaker or the Oath Taker, whatever it was. Like I understood where he was going with it, but you would have to play a lot of like video games to understand where that's actually like derived from, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a sword in like Game of Thrones or something. Like
No, it was a
okay.
no, it was
Yeah,
a video
Kingdom
game.
Hearts.
Yes.
Yes.
And Robin wanted to clarify, you folks were hella confident.
We were. It was on that hot tub.
And Mona was mentioning earlier that she came all the way from Puerto Rico. She was not going to be voted out first. So that's why she tried so hard at first to make those connections. And we applaud that. We love strong gameplay here at Live Reality Games. We do.
Yes.
So vote comes up. Your exit. You were pretty hasty to leave. You said a few goodbyes, a few hugs, but you went right past JP, I think, like the one person that voted to save you.
Mhm.
Why? Why?
Okay, well, the videography did actually not capture everything I had to say.
Oh, okay.
There's a small clip and you can hear me, but when we were there, everyone thought that would be like my memeable moment. They just didn't capture it fully. But I stood up and I was like, stupid, 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 like yelling at them. And then I mentioned, I like said a few sentences that they also cut out. But yeah, I'm just a little, when I'm on edge, and I am super bubbly, but I do get confrontational. So I just cannot hide how I'm feeling, especially when the game is already over and I know that it's over. You know, I don't have to be fake anymore to people.
You have nothing left to lose. Like,
yeah, so I was just gonna act how I genuinely felt internally. And I didn't, in this game, they don't announce the vote count even. So I have no idea what the vote count even is at that point. So I'm just not going to hug anyone. I'm going to treat everyone fair because I don't know what the vote count was. And I just wasn't in the mood to hug them. I was like, y'all were hugging me in the hot tub. But also, so the vote count was 4-1. So JP was the only person to save me.
Yeah.
That entire time I was in Arkansas, like the 7 days we were there, and up to me watching the episode, I had thought the vote count was 3-2, as did the rest of the cast. Someone did lie to me even after the game and said that they had voted to keep me, but maybe they forgot.
They just forgot.
Yeah. But I was watching it expecting it to be 3-2, and it was actually 4-1. So I really did not even have a chance.
Wow.
Wow.
So of course, who was this person?
It was Jules.
Mm-hmm.
Jules had told me that they kept me safe, and I mean you can see it in the edit too. Like Jules actually did want to keep me. I think it was just they were playing a little safe, a little tame. So they decided to vote with the others.
And in general, like, you can probably attest this yourself. Like, there's a lot that goes on in a live game. You're making so many decisions, so many conversations. Like, things you think you say, you may not have. And when you look back, you're like, oh, gosh, I totally forgot about this conversation. So,
yeah. Me and Jules bonded a lot afterwards. So we're besties.
I'm so excited to see them and see how they do too, especially from that improv background. I really want to see how that applies. And anyway,
super fun job.
Jeremy, I know you had a lot of notes, so I just want to touch back. How are we doing on your notes? Did we skip anything? Or
so we went through a lot of things. I just had a few funny comments that I wrote in my notes throughout the duration of the episode that we kind of did go over. Definitely without through strategy before room assignments, we went through a lot of that. Something I did note or a few things I did note actually, was Laurel trying to hug you on the way out. And she, you were running, you were moving through the crowd. And she was like, wait, come back. She was trying. It was so funny. I was rolling on the ground crying. It was so funny.
Was it me?
I'm pretty sure it was you. I'm pretty sure.
I was really not in a hugging mood that day, I guess.
You hugged Robin and you left.
That makes
you got
sense.
Up and walked out. Another one of my notes was just one of my favorite lines of the entire episode. A 33-year-old cryptocurrency dude.
Yes.
A 33-year-old cryptocurrency. You were so interested, but not really. You were tired of listening to it. Don't trust straight men.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
That really was why I was the most mad at him too. Was he made me listen to all of that for no reason. Yeah. Also, I think Matt is a good narrator. I think I wasn't sure who would have the most confessionals in this episode, but I think it was Matt because he does have a WWE wrestling persona background. So he has that faux wrestler energy. So he's able to speak really well.
There was a Twitter post and someone had counted each confessional one by one. And Matt had 12, 13 confessionals total.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's over here really like he's like not only is he playing hard like on camera, like he's in his confessionals telling everyone he's playing hard.
I was in the top 6 of those confessionals. Thank God.
I saw that this morning too. I think Taja
Did it. Yep.
Yes, I think Matt and Jada were the top 2.
Shout out to our little Edgic person out there. So thank you for keeping track of that.
I definitely did help Matt at the end get another confessional too. I should have said anything so Jada could help the most. I'm just kidding.
Now it's strange that you mentioned his little like cryptocurrency thing. This happened once at the bar. We were at the bar and this guy just walks up and he just chatted with Kirk about cryptocurrency for an hour. I'm here just like, whoa, this conversation. They're still talking about this stuff.
People are really into that.
They really are.
Not for me.
If you give somebody the chance to talk about their stock portfolio, do you have time? Because they will talk about it. And they will tell you everything about investing.
Maybe I should have listened like years ago. So
I know Robin only had 2 confessionals. Can you believe that?
Robin and Julia both did, yeah.
They're just, it's a quiet edit. They're going to pick up later in the game, I think.
Yeah,
I totally felt like they had more. I really felt like Robin had a little bit more confessionals than 2.
I feel like we just saw more of Robin. Like, I feel like they were just in more like conversations.
Right.
I think so too. Like more of the actual footage.
Liz, did I skip anything you want to pinpoint or?
Don't think so. Well, are we choosing people who we want safe?
Yep, absolutely. So next on the list here, with the season of VIPs as our twist, we thought it would be pretty fitting if we had a season of VIPs as well. So after each episode, the host here, and of course, Austin, please stay tuned. Just judge us on how good we do. And sorry, we couldn't save you as a VIP. You weren't in Team Dustyn after all. Like, I take ownership of that. So you're still with me, okay?
Okay.
Jeremy, Liz, and I will go through and kind of pick like who we would want safe from this episode. So we're just gonna pop this up here.
So excited.
And then, of course, we can have the same people, folks. Jeremy, you are the newest person here. So props to you for going first. So who would you like in your VIP?
And it's 3 correct.
3 people, because they had 3 people in the show. We're keeping 3 people safe who you don't want to go. Maybe they did something good in the episode. You just like them. Go ahead.
You know what? I'm going to go with Laurel first, just because I liked her gameplay. I liked her just being an upfront person. She had a pretty strong VIP this episode, I think.
Okay.
Moving forward, I want to say Mona Lisa for sure as well. I would totally save Mona.
Mm-hmm.
My girl, shout out. And of course, bestie Robin. We love them. Who wouldn't? I mean, Robin is by far one of my favorite people to ever play games ever. I love them.
Liz, ball's in your corner. Do you want me to go or do you want to go?
Well, do you have ideas? Like you got your 3?
Yes, I think I have a 3.
All right, you go there.
Okay, I always like get scared out at the end. I'm terrible at drafts. I get nervous. That's why I get my people. Anyway, first person on my list, I think the most strategic person of the episode making all the plans is definitely Xena. So I have to keep Xena safe. Like, she's doing some good moves out there, and I hope to see her alliances like go full force on that. Second, we mentioned it, and I think Robin's probably going to be safe-ish, so I'm going to be okay with that. But I'm going to put my next one on Julia. And actually, it's based on the number of confessionals as well. I don't think she had a lot of time to develop what she had to say. She made a few good comments here and there, but I was like the quieter ones too. So, Julia, I want to keep you safe this episode. And then next, the opposite. And because of Team Dustyn, we're going to keep Matt safe, okay?
Okay.
So if we want an asshole from New Jersey, we're going to get an asshole from New Jersey. I hope we don't. I think Matt is playing a great game so far, and I hope he doesn't have to kick on that. persona. I think he's really personable, and he's making some good alliances too. So, Matt, VIP, welcome.
Don't forget about his knowledge about cryptocurrency.
Oh, I know, right? Like, if this goes wrong, like, he's invested for years now.
Right.
So, Liz.
All right. Well, I'm gonna choose Jada because if she went like soon, then that would be so sad because I think she's playing so much better than like last time, and she is, just really having fun and stuff. And I'm gonna choose JP. He might not be playing super well, but look, he is on my fantasy team, and I think he's a lot of fun, and I think he can improve. Like often, like I think there's people who like come out kind of like strong at the start, right, and then they're kind of a target, but then later they get used as a shield and stuff, like Derek, like. Yeah, and you can always fix your mistakes. You make mistakes, you fix them.
That's
so
funny. All day I was prepping for this. I wanted JP on my list too. I was like, oh, I gotta save him. He got that clue and everything. Like he just did a wrong move. I forgot again to pick JP. So
there's a lot of room for growth with him and his game moving forward.
My third pick, I think. You know what? I think I'm gonna pick Keaton.
Okay.
I just found him really fun to watch this episode. It's just got this like gamebot energy that's like it's just always like thinking and like doing stuff, and I think that's gonna be pretty fun to watch going forward. So yeah, Keen.
All different people.
I'm surprised by that. Like, I even told this in the group chat we have going. I was like, we could choose the same people, but yeah.
Pretty cool.
Spread the love,
Okay. Look, it's equal opportunity in this building.
That's going to be terrible. Like, most likely one of our people are going to get voted out real soon, unfortunately. So,
I mean, look, probably JP.
Who do we think is winning and who do we think is next boot?
Oh, okay.
Like all of our VIPs or like of everyone?
Of everyone.
Very soon in the game to call a winner. I can definitely do like a favorite for sure that I want to win per se. I want everybody to win. I know that's a bad answer, but especially with the twist that you just got sent home, there could be something crazy, and just it's not that they play a bad game. It's just a crazy twist. So I'm not answering first if that's what you're looking for.
I'll say I'm scared for Jules. So yep.
Jules
might be gone soon.
I'm gonna agree with her. Yeah.
In terms of like a winner, I mean, look, Xena's looking pretty strong. But I think people can see that. Same with like Edmund. But trying to remember the rest of the cast.
I'm bringing it right back up here.
Who stands out to me though? Who stands out is John. I just think he has a really good like read on stuff. I don't know. I got good vibes from John.
Nicholas, I think, is doing really good. I think Nick is probably going to be my winner pick at this point. I feel like Nick is in a few good alliances right now. He's working really well with folks. He's got a personality. He can like bond with anybody at this point in this game. Like he has had like conversations with everyone at this point, I think, that we've seen. So Nick will be my winner pick for now. And then most worried, I'm going to vote for most worried about Keaton going home. I feel like his plea was in front of a lot of people. And I don't think it was probably well received by a lot of people. He was pretty much the first one that got to Laurel. I don't know if that's exactly how it went down in the game, of course, with the editing. But I would say I'm most worried for Keaton being next boot.
Very interesting, everyone.
I'm feeling, either Keaton or Jules. Liz, and Dustyn both had pretty good reads off of both of them. I feel like they are going to come out pretty early, unfortunately. My favorite player winner pick is I'm going to go with the underdog. I want to say either Julia or John as well. John just seems like a person who can trudge his way forward through the game pretty easily. A lot of people I know him. I've never met him or played a game with him, but apparently he's a pretty good player. So I want to see what he can pull out in this game for sure.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of comments are coming in too. A lot of people are voting for Austin as to win. Robin says it themselves. It's like, hey,
oh
Austin,
no, Robin!
Hey, there's always the possibility of a comeback challenge. So
We go back.
I love that pick, Robin.
And then also Nicole's still with us too. She confides in the fact that it is rough on a pretty much a twist. You make good calls and bad calls, and you just you can't do anything about a twist.
Crazy.
All right, well, folks, I appreciate your time here tonight. We had a blast. Jeremy, welcome to the crew. Thanks for being us with their first of many. I feel like I think this went really well. So this was a test. It really wasn't a test. I told you that.
Look, I thought it was. I really thought it was when I got the email.
And you took notes, so that is great. Like 100%.
A grade will be sent.
Austin, appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you had a great time getting grilled. Not really. I hope we kind of kept it pretty good for you. So we'll wait for later. Okay.
Yeah, grill me whenever.
Liz, thank you for being here all the way at noon. So
yeah, no worries.
Time zones.
Thank you, Dustyn. You're a legend.
And thank you for everyone else. Make sure if you're watching to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you're not over on YouTube, on Facebook, just go check us out on YouTube. It takes like 2 seconds. We are on Twitter. I try to comment as much as I can. So I'll be there. Thanks for tuning in. Next episode of Penthouse goes live this Thursday at 9. And then we again go live Tuesday at 9 as well. So who's ever up next, we might be seeing you in a week. So, all right, till then, everyone, you have a